think the most difficult part of being a touring musician is probably to combine a personal life at home, like to have keep your family, keep your friends. I think a lot of people don't realize that even if you play a show 90 minutes, when you're on tour, you're still with the band like 24/7, and you come home and life has gone on at home. Like people, your friends get family, they get kids, and it's a totally different life that they're living. And even your family, they don't really understand what you're going through on tour. But so I think that can be hard. But and I guess it takes a certain kind of person to willing to live that life. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world, but it's not always easy.
A typical day in the studio would be waiting and waiting and waiting, unless you're recording. If you're recording all the time. And if you're not recording, you're waiting. But yeah, that's the way it is. And on tour, it's also waiting. I'm waiting. And then you perform for 1 or 2 hours, and then you pretty much go to bed and wait for the next waiting. No, seriously, on tour I try to explore nearby points of interest that might be whatever. And it's actually super easy nowadays when you have your smartphones, you have Google Maps and everything. You can find and explore all kind of stuff to see or do. It was trickier back in the day when you didn't even have a local map. You didn't even know what direction to walk to if you wanted to buy something or whatever. So yeah, that's how I try to spend my days. Do something on tour, to do something during the day.
I think we have a very good mix of personalities. You know, I think we have a little bit of everything, which is probably pretty good, because if you have two of one kind, that would just cause a mess of everything. You know, a lot more fighting, I guess. So we have, you know, it's tricky to describe them as personalities, but I guess Ollie he's the founder of the band. He started the band Scum back in the late 80s, which later transformed into Amon Amarth at the time I joined the band too. And it's been his band for over the years. Even though everybody's been a part, we always done it as a democracy. You know, everybody has their say, and so he's been kind of like a boss, but a friendly boss. You know, we're a band, but it's his band. So he's the driving force. And then we have the main man, the front guy. Luckily, we have a big guy. He's a good front man, that's for sure. But he's very easily distracted. He's the most confused guy I've ever seen. You know, but as long as he's happy, we're happy. You know, because we like him, you know, and then we have Johan, the other Johan, guitar player. We call him Little Johan sometimes because he's smaller than the other one, of course. Yeah, he's our technical guy when it comes to music and stuff like that. You know, when we rehearse in a rehearsal room, he's kind of like the geek in that way. You know, he sits at home with his keyboards and do stuff, music at home, and when in rehearsal room we have our own monitor desk, you know, so we can hear what everybody. He mic'd everything up, and we listen to that. So without him we would be totally lost in that world. So he's kind of he's a bit geeky in that way. And then we have the drummer Frederick, and he's the drummer, and everybody who at some time met a drummer knows that they're completely insane in many ways. You know, I don't think I've met a normal drummer in my whole life, because they're just nuts behind their drum kit and tweaking and bending and doing stuff. he's a drummer. And then we have the bass player. I guess like in all bands, the only normal guy in the band, the guy with right kind of humor and intelligent and beautiful, and you know the drill. You know? So I guess the other guys will, if you ask them, they will tell you the same story. So it's not a secret, but it's all good.
I mean, in the old days, we used to write all the songs, sitting in the rehearsal place or jamming. But nowadays, it's more like we write at home and then we bring the stuff to the rehearsal place to arrange it. But that has been like that for the past 4 albums, I think. And also a big change on this album is we changed the producer. Because we did the last 3 albums with Jens Bogren. And we just felt that we don't want to get too comfortable in the studio. We need something to be like a challenge. To get new sound and somebody else's input. And see what happens.
Well, the future, I don't know. We have no future. No, I'm just kidding. I think actually I'm actually fairly positive about the future. I think that we have a very exciting time ahead of us. I mean, we started, as I mentioned before, we started working with a new management, new agency, and all that stuff. So hopefully that's going to give us a lot of fantastic opportunities. But I also think that with the album that we're recording right now, I just feel that we have such a great album coming up, and I'm actually so positive about this album. It actually scares me because, every time you feel very positive about something, it can always go wrong, only go wrong. But I think we have such a great album, and I know that working with Andy as a producer is going to bring the best out of it, definitely. So I see us taking a few more steps in our career. And I think that this new album is definitely going to push us in the right direction. So, yeah, I have high hopes. Yeah, it's scary.